We'll go now to Mr. Cody, then Director Rivlin, and then Ms. Schakowsky, then Ryan, Henschling, Becerra, and Spratt, and Fudge.
Okay, in our first meeting about 7 months ago, I mentioned that in my travels around the world, and I travel a fair amount, as you know, my observation has been that successful countries were able to act with collective purpose and with the political will to get things done. We have a serious national debt problem, and it has global implications. We're being watched by countries with similar problems looking for a model. And more importantly, we're being watched by countries who consider us past our prime because we can no longer rally as Americans to accomplish the tough things. That we've come to a point where we'd rather revel in our discordant pluralism than act with collective purpose as Americans. As a country, we need to stop the demagoguing where everyone just runs to their neutral corner and yells and screams at the other guys. The American public is smarter than that, yet I don't believe anybody's really giving them the facts. And we need to be capable as a government of having a more nuanced, thoughtful conversation amongst ourselves and with the public. The facts are that we had a net national debt before the recession of $6 trillion, and today it's $9 trillion. 45% of our debt is held outside the United States, with about $1 trillion of that money loaned to us by China. Over the next 10 years, even with optimistic economic and cost assumptions, that debt grows to $20 trillion in 2020. 10 years from now, our interest bill alone will be $1 trillion a year. Now, we believe that generally that millions are a lot, and some of us deal with billions in our work lives, but $1 trillion is difficult to grasp. So to put it into perspective, if you had spent $1 million a day since Jesus Christ was born 2,010 years ago, you would still not have spent $1 trillion. And that will be our annual interest bill. The American public is on to the right issue, but for some of the wrong reasons. Many want to point to the, quote, Bush tax cuts or the stimulus or earmarks as the issue. Now, while important, these are all sideshows as we accumulate $20 trillion in debt over the next 10 years. The big issue is that my generation, the baby boomer generation, is retiring. And as we move through Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid, we will crush the system. The Commission has proposed about $2.5 trillion in spending cuts and $1 trillion in tax increases cumulatively over the next 10 years. On spending, that's about a 5% reduction over what was planned to be spent. It still increases about 4% a year for 10 years. Similarly, on taxes, the $1 trillion is about 3% more than what was planned. That is hardly revolutionary. Yet I've never seen such hyperbole as that which accompanies every piece of taxes or spending. And for the 12 politicians on this commission, I honestly don't know how you get your jobs done with the kind of yelling and screaming that goes on about these things. But this is a job that needs to get done. These difficult political decisions will get made one of two ways. The first is we can do it thoughtfully and proactively. The second is we can wait for the bond market to force it upon us. And that will be decidedly harder, more abrupt, and unpleasant. We can ask Greece and Ireland what that's like, and soon Italy, Spain, and Portugal. Now, many people have a hard time relating to what the bond market is or why they should be concerned. So think about it this way. About $4 trillion of our debt today, about 45%, is money loaned to us by foreign countries, with $1 trillion of it loaned to us by China. What happens when they don't want to loan us any more money? Where do we go? What do we do? What happens when the bank, in this case foreign countries like China, doesn't want to loan you any more money? We've benefited a lot in this time from being viewed as the world's reserve currency, the safe haven, if you will. What happens when we're not viewed that way anymore? When we have to raise the price we pay, in other words, interest, to attract the loans we need from foreign countries. when the interest rates Americans have to pay for home, schooling, and car loans go up for the same reasons, thereby hurting the very people that we think we're protecting. Finance is not an exciting subject, but this goes to the core of our own economic and homeland security. And when that decline does come, it doesn't come in small monthly doses, giving us 20 months to adjust. It happens overnight when the herd runs against you and fear grips the market. The American public deserves better. I don't like everything that's in this proposal, and in reality, I don't think it's big enough. And it goes nowhere near far enough to sort out our most pressing spending issue, Medicare and Medicaid. But I do know we need to start somewhere. There's plenty of blame to go around on how we got here. There's also plenty of opportunity to work together and demonstrate the political will some countries in the world believe we no longer have. There does come a time when we have to act with collective purpose to do what's right for the country. We have to come together, Democrats and Republicans, old and young, business and labor, stop arguing and start agreeing. This is one of those issues. We can't let the perfect be the enemy of the good. This is a time for us to pull together, not pull apart. While I'm not enamored of everything in the co-chair's proposal, and I do wish it went further, I do believe this is a time for us to pull together as a country. Erskine and Ellen, I do think you guys have done one hell of a job working with Bruce and his team and all of us as commission members to develop a realistic and doable plan. I also know we don't officially vote until Friday, but I wanted to let you know today that I'm with you. I'm your third vote. So thanks for everything you've done.
I'm counting 5 now. Thank you very much. I'm thrilled to hear that.